Greetings, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. If it's not afternoon for you, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Hello. Glad to see everyone here. You probably noticed it's not Saturday. I haven't done a weekday stream in a while, but welcome everyone. Hopefully your week is going well. I had a moment and I was like, I've got time to do a stream right now, so I figured I would hop in and do one. So, without further ado, welcome everyone. If you are new here, first off, feel free to chat in the chat box that you'll find over on the side. It's a pretty friendly group here. If you want to talk to me, my name is Brendan. You can see it right here. And I am the host of the DevChatter live stream. However, we are a pretty awesome community of developers. And Stoolpenner starting off a stream right. Thank you very much for the 15 months of subscribing to our stream here. So as I said, we are a community that does more than just a live stream, though obviously we are centered around the live stream as it is the consistent thing that happens. If you are so inclined, we do have a Discord community that has hundreds of developers in there, though it's not super chatty, so that actually makes it fairly safe to join. You are welcome to check that out. Links, of course, are in chat as well as down below the stream. Greetings, welcome everyone. I saw a handful of people saying hi at the beginning of the stream, so hello Crimson, Stoolpenner, Coated Beard, anyone else in chat that doesn't want to talk, don't worry, I won't call you out, lurkers, but glad to have you here. And Cryptoism and I'm gonna guess Eidos or Eidos, maybe? Welcome, greetings, hello. So we are planning on continuing on one of our C# projects here on the stream today. Obviously, I am not a designer, hence this not looking great. But the application we are building is more significant than its UI, we'll say. So what this application is called Interactive7. It is a fun little application that gets involved with a game called Final Fantasy VII. If you haven't seen this game before, it is a relic of a previous millennium, we'll say. This game came out in 1997, the original version of it, though the code base that we're working with is the PC version, so it is the 1998 version of the code that we are working with today. This code, of course, is it's not exactly that version because it's had updates since then. We're actually running the Steam copy here, though the code that we're writing would work with other versions of the game as well. Greetings, hello Barnyard Man, and Auk, greetings. I haven't seen you in a while either. So glad to see some people here. Feel free to say hello in chat or stay silent. Up to you. And yes, Coated Beard, we've all made some abominations of apps. Those of us that are not great at designing good-looking applications make some terrible stuff sometimes. Okay, so I mentioned it ties into this game. Somebody's probably asking, okay, how does it tie in? What does it do? So do I not have that? Okay, I didn't have that focused. So, heads up, this game only actually is active while I have that screen active. So if it's not active, you won't see changes. For example, I could type in this command, and it will set a random color palette to the menus. I have a named color palette that is this one, and then this is the game's default. If you were to just start up the game, it would look like this, if you didn't do anything. Welcome, Renee. Good day to you as well. Okay, so I want to take a look at a handful of things today. First off, I want to do a little bit of bug fixing. So first off, let's take a look at what the name blids are on Cloud. So our main character, Cloud, is the one up there on the top. His name is Buster right now, and if you look in the chat, I brought up the name bids. So one of our commands is name bids. If you were to type in cloud. Sure, yeah, like what Crimson did. I was about to use Crimson as the example, but he beat me to it. So he has actually changed the name of the character in the game by typing a command into chat. So, cool. But how's it work? Well, we're keeping track of the amount that people have bid for any given name to be the current one. As soon as one of the other names gets more bidding for it than the previous, it will rise up above and be the choice. So in this case, if I wanted to change it from Crimson to anything else, I could go back to Buster just by putting in, like, 4. And it will shift back to Buster. Okay, so it's just whichever one has the most at any given time. Let's point out the bug that we want to fix. So how about we try to name Cloud Penner, and we go with that command there. So, something that I've noticed is we have some beta testers actually trying this on their stream. So this application is built for streamers. So streamers that play Final Fantasy VII are able to use this application to help them make money while playing the game. And the way that we do that is we say, okay, we'll make the game more fun for the viewers of the stream because they can interact with the game and make changes to it, make decisions about what's going on in the game. So far, I've only shown you the cosmetic ones. There are some non-cosmetic changes that can be made as well. And the streamer can set a price for that. So the users will have to spend some bits in Twitch in order to make those changes. So the number that we're bidding is actually a number of bits that we want to apply towards that. So think of those like pennies. So if someone wants to spend $1 to rename a character, a lot of streamers set the name price default to like $1, so the first person to spend $1 can choose the name of the character. So that's essentially how it works. And good try, Fuel Snavel, good try. Select star from users. Yes, that's totally going to be his name. The funny thing being, I think you could actually get his name to be select on that, which should be strange, but sure. Oh, Eidos, don't worry. If you are new here, we will attempt to not leave you behind. Feel free to ask questions, and we will explain. I won't be diving into super complicated code here, but what I wanted everyone to see was, so first off, what did it say? It said, be sure to include a gil amount in your name bid? Ooh, did I fix this bugger? Oh, wait, you don't have 0 gil. You have 150 gil. Yeah, okay, cool. Fuel Snavel got it. Because he put in something that wasn't an amount. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so apparently I have to do that. Stool Penner. So I'll do that. No, it still says be sure to include a gil. What? Okay, well, that's weird. The bug isn't what I think it is. Let's have a look. Either way, let's dive into the code. Let's see how it works. I'm just going to search for that error message that we got. There it is. So if the gil amount was less than 1, then we're going to say be sure to include a gil amount in your name bid. Okay. So that meant that we bid 0. Now what did Fuel Snavel do? So for some reason, Fuel Snavel, when he called it, he got you don't have 0 gil, you have 150. So it was like saying he didn't have enough. Yeah, so Fuel Snavel, you got the bug and I didn't manage to reproduce it. So why did that happen? I didn't get the error because I don't actually spend money. That's why. So the message is wrong. So before we do that, we need to check and see if the gil amount was 0. So, since we grabbed gil amount there, I could just do this check before this point, like that. And is that safe? Is that going to break anything if we do that? And just for a heads up for anybody that is wondering, the reason why everything went all green squiggly there all over the screen is because it is currently debugging and attached using the debugger. So Visual Studio is freaking out right now and going, whoa, 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 you can't change all the code. Welcome. By the way, I see Ace Flames here. Yes, there is a DevChatter stream during the week. And Pudding, greetings, hello. Yeah, see, so Fuel Snable put in nan, which is a number, but it's not a valid one. Okay, so let's go ahead and restart the bot, the FF7 bot that allows all this chat interaction to work. And now with this moved to the right place, things should be good. Yeah, well, the reason why you've had trouble catching a weekday stream of DevChatter is because I don't think I've done one yet this year. I think this is my first. I have been doing Saturday streams, so if you are one of our old regulars and you've been missing the stream, well, it's because I've been doing it on Saturday. So, and yes, Stoolpenner, I did see that they were adding some VS Code functionality into GitHub. I am thrilled by that, because the number of times I'm doing pull requests and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to it's like, I want to tell you to make this change. Like, I want to make this suggestion, but then what I have to do is I have to go and pull a copy of the code down and make the suggestion, because it's more than a one-liner. It's like, oh, I think you should make this change. I want to make this suggestion. It's tiny, but it's going to hit these 3 other files because, you know, I changed the method signature or I renamed something like that. And so it's a tiny change, but because it rippled to 3 places, it's then a pain to go through to each spot in the code review and a pull request and correct them. It would be much nicer if I could just click a button and be like, hey, make a quick branch that I'll PR into this, and then just do it all in the browser and just make a quick change. That'll be amazing if they let me do that. That's what I want. I'm hoping that's possible. Otherwise, I kind of sit there and I'm like, well, I mean, I've got VS Code. It's lightweight enough. I don't need a browser-based version, but sure, why not? So, guess we can do it. All right, so i7's live again. Let's have a look. Fuel Snable, you are not a mod. Do you want to try the? Do you want to try the command again? Like do one of those. So mine comes back with, be sure to include a gil amount, and yours should do the same thing now. Developers don't need expensive laptops. They can do all the work in GitHub. So the funny thing is, Fuel Snable, for some tasks, we don't need an expensive laptop, but for other ones we do. Fuel Snable, don't include a gil amount. Just do a name, so that we can see if we get that error or not. Or anybody, really. Anybody type in what I typed in. Just type in this. And you should get the same error. So the check we're making is that mods were not getting the same error as the regular users in a channel. There we go. So be sure to include a gil amount in your name bid. All right, excellent, good. And it tosses your name on the end, so be sure to include a gil amount in your name bid and returns so it doesn't continue on and do anything. All right, that actually worked pretty well. So I would call that a fixed bug on that. Let me get us on a new branch really quickly. And I will toss this on screen here so you all can see what I'm doing. All right, so that's our change. We moved this line of code up to there. Check for no gil amount before trying to we'll just say first. Okay, so that'll be our first of our bug fixing. So my plan today is to dig through some of this. Mostly I'm thinking bug fixing, but it is entirely possible that we will spend some time on creation of new commands as well, so you can see how they work. So as a quick explanation, all of our commands are triggered by command words. So you'll type in a command word, we'll check the list of command words that we have defined and see if any of them match. Now, some people have suggested, why don't you do like a fuzzy search, and where you essentially are saying like the user typed in something that was kind of close but not perfect. The reason why I don't want to do that is because I worry that we will then collide with commands that users have for their other bots. So because users have so many different bots when they're streaming on Twitch, a lot of times people will use one like a MooBot or a Nightbot, or they might have a Streamlabs chatbot. So they might have one of the mainstream ones that they've customized with special commands, or they might have their own custom bot. I would rather not run into those. To that end, we actually, in our commands, give them the ability to choose what they want the command words to be. So this is actually just the list that they control, and they can decide whatever command name they want. So if they don't like the command name balance or gill, for example, so if you type in balance or gill, you'll see that it comes back with the amounts. And actually, you have 3,300 gil you're seeing over in the chat. That's Interactive 7. The other one is actually another bot running on the same account. In addition, I could add monies here. So if I put in monies, spelled kind of funny, you'll see that it now responds to that as well. So, okay, that's really hilarious. Apparently I used monies in the other bot too. Money. Is money one of them? Wow, I used a lot of words for that over in the other bot, I think. But the point being that you can change what the commands are. So now as soon as I remove that, you'll see that money and monies don't respond based on i7. It's actually another bot that's responding. So see how the 3,300 isn't appearing anymore? That means that Interactive 7 did not reply to it. So really kind of nice that the user can just go and just change the commands, and they all update on the fly based on what it is they want, because these are actually bound to the values that we're using to run the commands. So they match up nicely. So you'll notice from this list that we have quite a few commands that users could actually run in here. This is not a small amount of commands. And then the other crazy part is that's not all of our commands even. So I have a few that have not actually been put in here. Ooh, Claudia. That is a nice joke. Yes, exactly. Claudia. Although you probably should have gone with Claudia with a capital C, because we could do that. Okay, so that is one down, and a few more issues to go. So I am going to have a look at our backlog of issues, because I know we've been given a few. Young clouds are going to be inaccurate. Oh yeah, that's a nasty bug. I wonder if I can fix that easily. I don't think we can fix that on stream without me doing some research, which you guys don't want to be here while I'm doing the research. I guess you might, but I don't really want to do it while we're doing the research. I think we stopped. I think we did. Okay, so I have a note in my backlog of tasks indicating that there is still a bug related to not having the right number of characters in the party when you try to apply status effects. So let's take a look at that. I agree, Pudding. Research can absolutely be fun. But what I would have to dig into to figure that out is actually so we would have to modify a game save file because I'm not at the right point in the game to find that. So I would have to switch us over to that point in the game and take a look. Hey, Lucky, welcome. Greetings. Look, I've got an iTwitch client, Lucky. See this Twitch client? You know what a client is, right? As a joke, because Lucky was pointing out on a recent one of his streams that Twitch client literally could be anything, and it doesn't really have much meaning. It's like a client. I think he's changing it to be Twitch chat, which I think is a fantastic change, by the way. Is a really good change. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So first off, I'm in the wrong place. So do I actually want to quit? Yeah, I'll quit. It's fine. We'll do a full restart of it. Other news, just for DevChatter viewers that are here, I am working on, I should say, anybody who is involved in any of this stuff. So the code spaces for GitHub and shared in our internal channel as Doom. Oh yeah, I could see some people being afraid of them. What I was going to mention is on our YouTube channel, I will be so I've gone back to working on our video series of DevChatter Basics, where I do like basic videos and things like that. So it's actually from one of these lights that is shining a bit of light on my forehead, and then that's bright enough that the chroma key filter is removing some of my forehead right there. See, hole. It's appearing right here as shine on my forehead. So, yeah. Anyway, in our DevChatter Basics series, basically I'm covering like foundational programming topics, specifically in C#. So people that mentioned earlier in the stream that you're a beginner programmer or anything like that, so if you are one of those people, feel free to check that out, as that is a good place to learn some about C# and some of just the basic foundational stuff about the language. For example, I just did a video where I talk about enums, and the funny thing is I got a reply back, like one of the comments in the video was like, hey, you didn't cover this, you're going to cover this? And it was funny because I put at the end, I'm like the very end of that video, I put in a thing, I'm like, I might not have covered your topic, I couldn't cover everything, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to keep these videos short so people can watch them, pick up a few things. Like, I didn't like deep dive into everything, and so it's like, yeah, the plan is to cover some of this other stuff later. Items, what is it? Potion? Is that a command to add it? Okay, cool. So you'll see I've got commands to oh, whoops. Sometimes the brain, she don't work. Alright. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look. So I want to try something out. You're about to see the cool thing about this. If you haven't seen Interactive 7 before, you are about to find out the craziness. Oh yeah, I should mention, sending those items would normally cost a gil, because the idea is that that'd be viewers of a stream interacting with it. So we wouldn't want a streamer to have chat doing too much stuff without them getting, without some kind of barrier to prevent it from going crazy. So, in my channel, one of my mods can send you gil if they really like to. Interesting. So, okay, so Prototype. Who named him Prototype? How did I miss that? Or was that his name already in here and I just didn't refresh? I bet I just didn't refresh. Yeah, there we go. I just didn't refresh. Okay, so they have regen on, and that worked just fine. Huh. Am I getting the errors? I'm debugging, right? Whoops. Apparently, while Cloud was out there, I clicked onto him with Barrett and then had Barrett shoot Cloud. I don't know how I did that. That was dumb. Alright. Sorry about the delay on this. I actually just sped up the characters so that this would go a little bit faster. So if you missed in chat, the commands I was using actually do modify the status effects of the characters while they're in battle. So there are commands to do things like poison the characters or put them to sleep, confuse them, and do bad stuff, as well as the positive statuses that I handed out to them at the beginning of that fight. So before we continue, let me do this. I'm wondering if this is going to cause some kind of a problem with the combat. So I'm looking for a bug. I am told by some of our beta testers that if you do not have a full party, you can get some errors with this. So I want to find out if that's actually the case. And if it is, how to get it to happen. So let's go ahead and regen all again. We're going to go ahead and make sure that all the characters are regenerating their health. That worked fine. You kidding me? Does this not... Okay, so they're both hasted and they're both regenerated. It looks fine. I'm not seeing the problem. Oh, actually, Cloudy didn't get the regen? That's interesting. So, still potentially some bugginess with the status effects, because Claudia should be regened there as well. But it does seem to work. I'm going to check my logs, because they told me, and I believe them, that there is a problem. So let's go ahead and have a look. Open in File Explorer. I'll bring the log up onto the screen so that everyone can see it, not just me. This is NET Core 3.1, right? Yes. Today is May 7th. Can I just bring this onto the screen? Nope. What if I drag it onto here? Then will it open? Nope. Alright. How about if I just open it with Notepad? Is it going to be horrible? Okay. Interesting. Alright, so at the beginning, we have a handful of errors that we get on these because something's not there when it starts. But let's have a look at the most recent entries in here. So that is me, and I am saying haste all. I said regen all. There's my haste all, there's my refresh. There's my regen all. But I don't see any errors, so I don't think that we're actually getting an error. Which is good. Yay! Okay, I don't see the error in there. So, yes, for obvious reasons, as an application that I am sending out to other users, we do log details of what is going on, especially during our private beta, because of the fact that if a streamer is live, runs into a problem, they could at least tell me what time it was in their time zone, and I can go look at, and I can say, send me your log file, I want to have a look, and then I can go and look up what the problem is. So it looks like that's working fine. So I'm going to ignore that one and say it's good and continue on. Let's have a look for something else. You know, we could do... do you all want to write some evil code with me? Who wants to write... Chime in chat if you want me to write some evil code. Let's do some evil. It's always fun to write evil code. Well, no one's telling me not to, so I'll take that as a sent. Frozen Flame, welcome, greetings. We're gonna write some evil code today. Yeah, see, there we go. Elixir agrees. We're definitely gonna go write some evil code. So let's make a new command. I'm a Sith too. I know you are, Ace Flameseer. I know you are. Alright. So this is our materia command. I don't want the materia command. I want to take a look at the give player gil command. So see, we're going to start off all positive because we're going to start off with giving. So I want to take a look at this because what I want to do is kind of like this. I'm going to make a new command. I want to make a command that we're going to call GP command. GP? It's GP, right? I think it's GP. It's going to have a base command, and we are going to add a constructor to it. What did this want? Add missing members. Was this going to add a constructor? It was just going to add execute. Okay. Oh, I bet it was going to add the constructor too, but because I put a basic constructor in there, it didn't actually add it. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay, don't include that one, just include this one. There we go. Got the one I wanted. Okay, so I have a constructor here, and what I'm going to do with it is this. So our constructor here is a little bit weird because yeah, there we go. Do I need those? No, I don't need those at all. Okay. So the base command is an abstract class that includes a couple of properties in its constructor. So essentially, I've set it up so that I need to pass those in. What they are is a little bit unique, though. So in this case, they are functions that are selectors. So essentially, the base command says, I need to know how to enable myself and what to respond to. So that's my way of like forcing myself in any command to make sure that I wire up how to tell if it's enabled, because every command needs to have an enabled disabled, and every command needs to have a what do I respond to type structure. I want to extract a little bit more of that consistent composable logic into this as well, but that's going to be a task for a future episode. All right, so we don't want give gil enabled. Player gil settings. Is it actually going to be player gil settings, or I guess we'll do the same kind of thing as this and say player GP settings. Basically the same concept, and then I need to figure out how to extract this so that they share the same thing. So give GP enabled, give GP enabled. Wait, what did I just do? GP, there we go. I'm like, wait, that doesn't look right. Alright, so give is that one. And then remove is this one. There we go. Okay. You know, I will follow the suggested rule on this. Actually, that's fine. And I'll lowercase the p. Because the problem is, I think even if I tell it that that's okay, I think it's going to look weird because we're going to see GPE together, and I think that's going to be strange. So let's do the same rename here, and then we're going to move this to its own file. So that's now in its own file, and it's basically a duplicate of these settings, which means I really want to take that and find a way of making these consistent, because I think if we get a third type of this same thing, which I think we will when we do battle points, we will have 3 instances of this, and I'm not okay with that. 2 is in the gray area where it's definitely debatable whether extracting it is going to make things simpler or whether it's just going to add complexity when there's not enough duplication. Okay. So the give multiplier, I think, needs to be very small in this. Like maybe even sub 1. GP I remember. So GP I remember being valuable. So we'll make this a double and some. Gee, crap. Double or decimal? That's a great question. You might have to think about that. All right, for now I'm going to do decimal. Okay, so quick explanation for anyone that does not know in C# what the difference is between a double and a decimal. Most likely you've seen doubles in C#. Doubles are floats, and you've heard about floating point numbers. But if any of the newer programmers in here may not even know what that means. So if I have a whole number, so no decimal place at all, that's an integer. So, and when you deal with integer math, and I don't mean like the int in C#, I mean like integer as in like the mathematical term, it is an integer. There is no decimal place, no fractions, anything like that. It is a whole number. In C#, we have a lot of integers. There is technically speaking, an int 16, 32, 64, various other things that are integer-like. Which technically, when I say that, that's .NET Core that has those. In C#, they have shorthand names for them that really just reference those other types. So we call them ints, longs, and shorts. Where a short is a 16-bit integer, an int is a 32-bit integer, and a long is a 64-bit integer. So those are just some of the types. When you deal with floating point numbers, the best way to think of that is that as a scientific, it's kind of like, I usually try to explain it as, imagine you're storing a number in binary in like scientific notation. So if you remember scientific notation, you did things like this. 1.23 times 10 to the, 5th or something, right? And this said, like, take this number, multiply it by that. But what you can see is that this is not a very precise way of writing this number. So, that'd be what? So basically shift it 5 places. So 1, 2, 3, and then... So it would be like this number, something like that. But obviously, we probably lost data here because it probably wasn't zeros. That probably meant that we needed to have 4, 5, 6 on that as well in order for that to really have all the data. So the point is that a lot of times in scientific notation, we don't really have the information precisely. It's not very accurate. So why do we use it? Well, for storage reasons, calculations reasons, floating point numbers are really, really common. In fact, if you use JavaScript, you're going to run into those all the time. Their numbers are floating point numbers. It's what JavaScript uses. So, like, by default, that's what you get. That's why there's the math errors that you'll see people talk about in JavaScript with this craziness. Well, if you want to avoid that craziness in C#, you can use a decimal. And if you use a decimal, this actually is storing all the information. It's not doing the scientific notation storage, right? It's not storing it that way. This really is storing the value. Again, we have a limit on precision because, the amount of storage that we've got, but this is going to be much more reliable for you than a floating point number. And yes, so as Cyrilash is mentioning, and is quite terrifying that you are mentioning it all there, Cyrilash, floating point numbers in accounting software is a scary thought because anything dealing with money, you don't usually want to use floating point numbers. That said, there are some applications that do calculations that are estimates and things like that, and they're not actually distributing money, that will use floating point numbers because of the speed of the calculations, the math, things like that, where there's inherent inaccuracy in the numbers anyway, so they're less concerned about the error that would come in from using floating point numbers. So you will find some systems that will use this, but you should not store money in accounting software. And Sirlash is right. A lot of times it's some old piece of software that happened to store it that way, and it just hasn't been updated. And so that's one of the challenges you can run into is, like, there's a lot of old software that does things like that, and usually they have tricks. So if you ever have to work with an application that uses floating point numbers, you'll find stuff like things I've seen are is approximately something, right? And you'll see like my number dot is approximately 0, for example, and like 4, where this will indicate the decimal places to check out, right? And so like there'll be a lot of times you'll find these types of code in these old applications that did something like that, and I guess it's not going to be written with an extension method, but you'll find these types of things where someone will have written like, my number is basically this number, right? Because a lot of times you'll end up with like, you could end up with 1 minus 0, and the result ends up being like 1 dot, a stupid number like that, and you're like, well, yeah, it's 1, but because we stored it as a floating point number, we're slightly off. So just crazy things like that. So I have a feeling that Sirlash is probably like, oh yeah, there it is, see? Yep, we have that. I told you, you have to, because otherwise you can't actually compare equality of numbers, because you're like, well, it's practically the same. So, kind of funny. You remember that WinForms app that you had to convert? It was using floating points and converting them to ints, and, yes, exactly, Coated Beard. That can be all, like, just think about the damage that causes. So that's one of the reasons why we as developers need to actually consider these types of things of, like, how are we storing this information, and is it safe to use whatever types of data storage we are using? And yeah, Sirlash is pointing out that 1.00001 does not equal 1, and that's true, it doesn't. And that's the problem. But you can write a method that checks. Oh yeah, we stored as a binary floating binary number. Yeah. They were going for 2 decimal places and rounding down. Ouch, Coated Beard. That is going to be a lot of mistakes if all you're doing is grabbing 2 decimal places and rounding down. I've worked with plenty of analytics software before that displays everything at like 4 decimal places is usually pretty common for most things. Even when talking about money, most companies will actually do fractional amounts of money for things, just because it's good to keep track of, and then you can make the calculations and adjustments based on those. Sirlash, are you talking about in SQL using the newer money handling columns? Okay. Either way, the point being, since I'm going to be using fractional values here, I could potentially use decimals. In all honesty, in ours, we really don't care enough, so I could probably get away with using doubles. But I'll use a decimal, which is it's still a fractional thing, but it is going to track it a little bit nicer. So it's kind of like the C# data type that is safer to be doing money type calculations on. I assume that's why they did an M on here. I don't know what the M means to be. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why they chose M here. Floating point, you put in like F on the number to tell it that it's a floating point literal. That the M there just means that it's a decimal literal. Why am I getting text messages while I'm streaming? Who is texting me? Is that important? No, that was not important. It means monies. Yeah, see? Thanks, Ace Flames here. Clearly it means monies. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this. So we have player guild settings. Let's add player GP settings. We'll do the same thing that we did there. So now, inside of our give GP command, I'm going to say give player GP just to match with the... just to match with the same naming that we did here. Okay, so oh, and I didn't rename that. It's not give GIL enabled, it's give GP enabled. And remove GP enabled. Did I leave a GIL in here anywhere else? Oh, but I didn't update these to decimal and decimal. So those are our multipliers, and that's the allow mod override. Okay. You know, maybe I should have just said enabled. I'm just shortening that. That's just enabled. There you go. Oh, wait. No, they're separate. That's give and remove enabled. Never mind. Okay, we'll leave it that way. That's fine. So that's give GP enabled. Iced. If you want to try it out, go ahead and do one of these, right? Oh, do I have it run? It's wait. Yeah. One sec. Someone wants to test out. Oh, thanks, Sirlash. Good thing it's not running. Good thing it's not running. Sirlash was being mean, trying to troll the stream there. You don't want to see Lime. Trust me, you do not want to see Lime. Alright, we're going to go ahead and connect the bot back in here. And there it is. Yes, it's the best one. Okay, so if you do menu random, like what I suggested there and what Ice tried to do, you get this. That's Lime. This is the default color palette. You could also just specify 4 colors, and it will use those 4 colors to create a palette as well. So that is orange, orange, red, red, and dark red, all blended together. I don't think Lime would mess with my chroma key because my screen is not behind me. And see, there you go. You can also do single color to just make it dark red, and that's what it did. That's the dark red. You can also do some named palettes. We have other named palettes as well, but yep, that's how those work. They're pretty nice. We are currently building a give player GP command that I think is going to be evil. Oh, that won't work. I don't think. Actually, crap. Will that work? No, that one worked. Did Sirlash's work? I don't know if that works. I don't think it does. I don't think I've ever enabled that. No. But what you could do, if you wanted to, would be... if you did this one, that will make it all white. So that's now white. Not that you can really tell. And you also could have just done that with just one, but there we go. Back to normal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the program again so that we can go back to coding. Because I'm sure people want to actually see us write some code here. Although I love our discussions. Big fan of when we talk about stuff in here. All right, so this command, what's it going to do? It needs a payment processor because it is going to run, it's going to cost money to the user, it's going to cost GIL. So we need the payment processor. Do we need the GIL accessor? What do I use the GIL accessor for in this one? No, that's the player GIL accessor. Okay, so I need the payment processor. So I do not need the GIL one. So let's take that one out. But I kind of want to have a GP accessor, which I don't think exists. So we're going to do that. we just want more memes. Iced, how familiar are you with Final Fantasy VII, Iced? The answer can be no, and that's perfectly fine, and I'll explain anyway. But if set GP, get GP, add GP, and remove GP. Glad to hear it, Ace Flames here. You played one of its games on your PSP, but it's been a while. Okay, so you're familiar basically with JRPGs then, at least somewhat. So in this game, there is a point where the player can go to a place called the Gold Saucer. It's kind of like a theme park. And at the theme park, there is an alternate currency that they use. So when you get there, you can spend some money to buy a ticket and to go in. Your characters go into the theme park. While in the theme park, they are able to earn these GP. These are kind of like, think, prize tickets that they can win from playing games and things like that. And as the player gains these tickets, they can use them to buy certain stuff. What we're going to do is allow the viewers of a stream to essentially add tickets or remove tickets. So if you think the player has too many, is doing too well and earning too many tickets, you can remove them. If you want to help them out, you can give them tickets, is kind of what this is. So it's sort of like mess with the streamer as much as you like, or as little as you like. Entirely up to you. Okay. So we like giving power to the viewers. All right, so last thing I need to change is I need to add that give player GP command words. I need to put right next to the give Gil command words, and while I'm in here, I'm gonna do the remove ones as well. So let's do a quick replace on Gil and replace it with GP within the selection. Now this is going to give me some compiler errors because these don't exist, but that's fine, because we are going to go to where they are, and we're going to duplicate these rows as well, and we are going to change Gil to GP within the selection again. There you go. And then last, there is one other place I need to change, which is this. I'm going to go here, duplicate, and do another replace on Gil to GP. Okay. Wait, why didn't that one line up? Oh! Oh, whoops. I made a mistake. Ooh, that was almost bad. Oh man, that was close. Okay, so what do we got here? What are your thoughts on the remake? So I think the remake's going to be fun. I think I'm going to enjoy it. I have not played it yet. I am not planning on playing it yet. So for this generation, I picked up a Switch and an Xbox One. I skipped out on the PS4. In most generations of gaming, I skip out on one of the consoles. This time I skipped out on the PS4 because the only thing I was planning on getting it for was Final Fantasy VII Remake. That being said, it took them so many years to do it that I am now sitting there going, well, if Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 is going to be on the PS5, why am I buying a 4? If anything, I'm either going to play it on the PC or on the PS5, and I'll just be, playing it later than everyone else. The reason that I like the idea of playing it on the PC is something that you mentioned there, which is, will we get an i7R when it hits PC? And the answer to that is, I don't know, maybe. I could totally see us doing that, especially if I talk a little bit more with the modding community, because if the modding community gets involved in the FF7 remake modding, then they could potentially give us some access that is non-memory based, which would be nice. In fact, I'm looking at that for i7 as well at some point. This is Twitch Cat. Just remove the ad commands. Yes, Sirlash, I know. That's part of the joke. Is I said we were going to do something evil, and then we add these things that are give. Twitch Chat's never going to give. Jump King is pretty punishing. Yeah. So something I want to do, Fuel Snable. I really want to try to make it so that our interactive stuff can apply to more games than just this one. And I do want to. Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to play Jump King. This is why we don't copy and paste. Yes, Sirlash, you are correct. This is why you don't copy and paste, because you can mess up the type of stuff that I just messed up. Okay, remove all duplicate. Okay, so give player GP command words, give GP enabled. Twitch chat, GP accessor, and a status emitter. Those, I believe that's everything we need. So let's go ahead and add fields for these. So I'm going to add a field for that, add a field for this. I'm going to add a field for that one, and add a field for that one. Okay, so we now have Sirlash. The funny thing is, I almost did buy a PS4 simply for FF7 Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3, but I decided against it. I think I'll play them on PS5. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so first off, in this, the first argument that we're going to get, because they're telling us an amount, so they're going to say something along the lines of give GP or something like that, but then they're actually going to say give GP 10 or something where it gives the user 10 GP. So if they want to give the user 10 GP, then sure. Sirlash, that is the plan in the long run, is to make it so that the application, when you start it up, you choose which game you want to be running against. But it'll be a while before we switch it to that, because obviously I'm just doing this on like side time right now. So, all right. So if amount is less than or equal to 0, then how much of your GP do you want to give to the player? Name. Okay. So we're going to do that. Afterwards, we're going to need to do a guild transaction that's not going to be the same as the one here. So this is actually, I'm grabbing this just for the template, but it's going to be very different from this one. Add GP. Okay, so here's how it's different. So first off, the guild transaction is not going to be the amount. It is going to be the amount actually, maybe the multiplier works that way and I don't decimal it. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I want access to this in an easy way, so I'm going to say private player GP settings. GP settings equals that. There we go. convenient little thing. So now I have access to my GP settings in here, and I can say give multiplier is right there. Now the problem I've got is that this needs to be an int again. I know I changed it to be a decimal, but I'm actually thinking that it is an int. So for every dollar you can give or remove a GP, I think is the exchange rate that we're going to basically be suggesting by having that as the default. So GP settings give multiplier, and then this is going to be GP settings allow mod override. So that'll process our payment. So that'll be the transaction. We'll say if it was not paid, then you don't have that amount of gil. An amount is not right. It's going to be amount times multiplier. So let's save this as gil cost. Because then we can say you didn't have the gil cost. And we've got a variable for it, so I'm not doing that multiplication twice. Okay. So I don't need to do this multiplication here because they told us how much to do. I did that. Oh, I already handled the if it's less than 0 that they have to tell us. So if someone tries to give me a negative number or something like that, then we'll still catch it and it won't be a problem. So add that amount. Why are we doing uint? I guess because it's probably a uint, to be honest. That's fine. We'll cast it to uint, it doesn't matter. I think I did it as a uint because it's that's actually what's stored in the system most likely. I'm going to need to look at the GP value when we write the GP accessor piece just to see if it is. Added amounts. Show message, show event. Okay. Okay. I think that's good. That'll work as is. All right, so now a quick check in here. Gil cost, that's a gil transaction. That is the gil cost, that is gil transaction. Because I was replacing a gil command, I want to just search for the word gil, just to make sure I didn't make a copy pasta error of some kind. The problem with copy pasta is, well, it's copy pasta, and copy pasta is dangerous and often not a great thing. Remove player gil command. So we're going to start here and do the same kind of thing in reverse. Remove player GP command is now this one. And I'm going to get myself this little helper because I liked it. That's basically, I'm creating myself a little property here that will essentially give me quick access to the settings that I need in here. So that's remove GP command words, and then this is... So this, basically what these methods tell it to do, these ones that are in this constructor, just so this isn't confusing anyone here, inside of the base class, what it's actually going to do is it's going to pass the settings to these functions that I'm giving here. That way I can check the settings to see the current state of the application, is this safe for me to run, is basically the way that we wrote this, so that these commands can decide whether or not they run, and nothing in the central system is determining that. They determine for themselves, given the current state, whether they should run. So it's within their power to decide, am I supposed to act now? Okay, so we got that. Instead of a GIL accessor, we need a GP accessor. That is a GP accessor, GP accessor. That is also a GP accessor, and so is this. And this one gets its type changed. And then everything else on there stays the same. Okay. And then down here, how much GP do you want to take from the player? Mike, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. All right, so GIL to remove is not the amount. That is GP to remove. But they told us in this case what that is, because we're reversing from how the other one worked. GP accessor get GP. That's what we're going to call. We're going to say get the current GP. And we're going to say if the amount is greater than that. Yeah. To do adjust to remove all. Player doesn't have that GP. So we'll just do that for now, and again leave the to do there to get next time. Okay, so we don't need that anymore because it doesn't do that. The GIL transaction. So this is actually what's going to change. So this becomes GIL cost. GIL cost equals this times the GP settings dot remove multiplier. So we're going to multiply those together to get us this value, the GIL cost, and then this is going to be GP settings. So we're going to say GP settings allow mod override GIL transaction was paid for. You don't have that much GIL username. And then this is the... So in the case that the user has paid the amount that they said they were going to, this is where we actually do the removal from the player. So we're then going to actually do it. So Cyrillash, sort of. So inside of the application, as part of the way that we handle uint, as part of the way that we handle the tracking of the user's GIL, we do have a bonus system in place. So users who subscribe to a channel do get a certain amount of bonus bits per stream per day. So essentially the idea is if it's been 24 hours since the last time you received your bonus and you are a subscriber, you will receive your bonus, is the way that it works. So essentially the idea is that viewers who are subscribers to the stream can get an amount of GIL for free as set by the streamer. So that is part of the application. They configure what that amount is. So some streamers set it to be like, you get 250 free bits just for being a subscriber, which again encourages people to be subscribers to their stream because they get these bonus rewards when they play every time. So the viewer doesn't have to worry about getting bits every time to be able to play, which is a nice thing for anyone that does run this that way. And Bald Bearded Builder, welcome, greetings, how's it going? I don't think you've been in my stream since you changed your name. But welcome. Glad to see you're here. And yes, I have occasionally at least stopped in to see how your streams are going, even though I don't usually talk much because I'm usually at work while you're streaming. But at work. I am working. I'm one of those people that was working from home before it was cool. Thank you very much. No, it's actually weird. I was talking to people about this. It is funny how, for those of us that worked from home before all the like stay-at-home orders everywhere, it's kind of funny because it's like oh, you'd think that we would be like, oh yeah, this is totally normal. It's like, no, actually, it's really different. It is a strange thing even for us. Like, we're probably more equipped for it because we're more used to it, and we don't quite need as much of the like going out and interacting with people because, well, we kind of already got used to the fact that we were trapped at home quite a lot. But it is strange. It really does get you. No, so you have so maybe you've been missing them, maybe not. So my schedule got crazy a while back, and in fact it's still crazy and will be crazy for a little bit longer. So I haven't been doing my weekday streams. This is my first weekday stream in quite a long time. So I've been doing only my Saturday streams. So if you make it to those, you'll catch me, because I do still do my Saturday streams, but I have not been getting to my Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday streams in quite a long time. Developers, welcome to all the awesome people rating in. Yes, exactly. So that is part of the challenge. I know a lot of people that are a lot of my like old viewers used to show up to my Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday streams, and now that I'm streaming mostly on Saturday, a lot of them don't make it. Hey Matt, greetings, welcome. I like your faces. That's some Calvin faces there. Greetings, welcome everyone, welcome to the stream. If you are new here, my name is Brendan, and I am the host of the DevChatter stream, which you probably guessed, both because it says my name right here below me, and because I'm on the stream. And thanks for the hype there, Janisku. Welcome everyone, Raiders. What were you guys working? Calvin, I know it's you. I know what you look like. I just thought it was funny. And what were you all working on over there? We're actually working on a C# and WPF app, which yes is .NET Core 3.1. We actually started this back when it was like the preview build stuff, but you're building a pre-show trivia app. Pre-show trivia app. So like before like conferences, or like before like live streams? Pre-stream. Okay, yeah. That's what I was wondering. Like, was it designed for like, yeah, see, that's actually what I was wondering. Was it designed for like the theater type experience thing where like there's an audience out there, but you're thinking like that for like the beginning of a stream? I would love that. That would be fantastic. Please build that and make that available to all of us, and we will love you forever, because I don't know about you, but I would love to have that at the beginning of the thing, especially if it actually does the trivia style stuff. We did a trivia game a while back in one of our bots. I don't remember exactly what we did with it, but one of my bots has a trivia game. So, I don't remember. I know we did one. Is it the one that's running? Nope, not the one that's running. I figured I'd look. Alright, so removed that amount of GP from the player. So if you are one of the people that is new here, we have a few people joining the game of rock, paper, scissors that hopefully is running. Oh, the bot chose paper. Nobody won. Oh, it was rigged. I'm sorry, guys. It was rigged. Janiscu's correct. It's always rigged. Wizard beats paper. Well, sadly, we don't allow you to pick wizard, so if you pick something you're not allowed to pick, we just give you random. The only winning move is not to play. That is actually fairly correct there, Matt. Definitely a good idea not to play. Don't gamble, folks. You could lose a lot of money. You gotta gamble responsibly. Was it called Guess? I don't... Alright, now you got me wondering. Is the trivia game in my regular bot, and I just don't remember the name of it? Wait, hang on. Wait. I think I got it. What do I have to do to start it? How do I start the game? What's the command to start? All right, everybody, join the quiz game. I think we only have the default like stupid questions in there, so they totally don't matter at all. There you go. We got some people in there. Now I don't actually remember how to play this game, so we'll see if it. Do I have to start it, or does it just go? Did it say starting a quiz game? Do I say start? How does it work? Is quiz? Oh, it's already being played. Okay. Oh, there it is. There's a. Oh. Is that how I play? How do I guess? Okay, that's how you guess. You have to say you command quiz and yeah, there you go. Yeah, like that. There you go. we didn't actually make that nice. We just kind of built it one time and we're like, hey, does this actually work? Yeah, it sort of does. And so at some point we could take that and actually make those commands not be terrible, so it just looked for the answers instead of, requiring that you did a command on that. Yeah, it is very, very chatty on that. That's why I said, like, that is not a permanent... That was just like a proof of concept, like, can we do that kind of thing? And at some point, I think it answers. Without us, I think it ends... I think it's time-based, but I don't remember. Yeah. I don't remember how the quiz game works. I think everybody forgot it existed. I know I forgot it existed. Maybe it's not going to end. I don't remember. Either way, the answer to that question was actually B. And I know it is because I happen to have Red Dog installed on a computer because I still have the old laptop I was working on that got Red Dog installed on it. So that's right, folks. I in fact had a console-based like fake version of Windows Azure installed on a laptop before it had that stupid name. Yes, I know I'm old, Matt. Thank you. It's hilarious to think of now the time before Azure even existed, and it's like, oh yeah, no, like that was a thing. Before we had AWS and Azure and Google Cloud and all these other platforms, we had to do things the lame way. Okay, so player doesn't have amount of GP that has to be greater than their current. Wait, hang on. If it is greater than their current, then we yell at them and say, hey, that was invalid, and return. If they set a number less than 0, we tell them it was invalid and return. Otherwise, we attempt to charge them. If it works, we remove the GP from the player and show the message. Okay, that'll work. Cyrilash, I'm glad to hear that you're using SQL 2000, or you're using Windows Server 2008 over there. I'm sure you are also running ASP.NET 2.0 with web forms, right? I'm hoping so. Okay, so we added that in. How did I do dependency registration in this application? Did I scan, or did I just manually shove them in? I think I manually shoved them in instead of scanning. I did. I need to change that at some point. Non-battle commands. So this is GP. That is GP. Hey, Mr. Shoji, welcome. Cal Raven, welcome, greetings. You're still doing Silverlight? Oh, that's awesome. Cal Raven, that's neat. That'll take you back right there. And yes, so Matt's actually correct. Like, seriously, it is whatever works. I should specify, I do think if you have the budget and time, upgrading an application to the newer frameworks is a worthwhile thing. However, oh, I didn't change these. Whoops. Greetings, developers, coming in from Kevin's stream. Hello. Hopefully you all had a nice bit of coding over there. Hey, welcome. You're working on transitioning. You're almost done. Yes. So if you are one of the companies that invested into Silverlight, as I did help some companies get onto Silverlight for a couple of applications, the problem with it is just the time frame that you want to plan to migrate off of it when it started disappearing. I do think that it was a decent platform for doing things. And for a lot of companies that did Silverlight, I think the correct answer, at least if they were doing it for an internal application, is to switch over either... There's two ways you can go. You can either just switch over to a web app if you really needed that aspect, or you could go to a WPF or UWP app or something like that. And actually, the transition's not that bad right now, especially for the .NET Core people. What is this? Mr. I'm the first profile on the Live Coders page because my name starts with 1. Oh, hey, that's funny. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought at least on the Teams page on Twitch, I think it sorts based on number of viewers. So the more popular streams show up on top. And yes, Matt's actually correct. The answer now might be to switch to Blazor. It certainly wasn't before this point. I guess I was saying, like, what you should have done since Silverlight. What? Oh, did someone say .NET? I bet someone said .NET. Matt probably said .NET, and Nightbot is dumb. Despite the fact that I've told it 100 times, ASP.NET, C#.NET, maybe he said something, maybe it was Blazor.NET or something like that, which I might not have told it about. Sorry, Matt. Should have only timed you out for like 5 seconds. We should sort by how much Fritz likes you. Wow, you want me on the bottom of the list, huh, Cyrilash? Thanks. Live Coders devs. Oh yeah, I really should allow that link to just go through. Yeah, I really should just allow that link to go through. Let me, you're talking about this website and then going here, and it's sorted alphabetically. You know what would actually be an interesting way to do this? If you didn't have it sorted, and since there's a search, a random would actually not be that bad. Man, look at how far down. Am I even in here? Jeez, there I am. That is hilarious. And I love how, since I didn't actually tell them anything, they don't have any info on me, just a link to my Twitch. Despite the fact that I could tell them a whole bunch of stuff about what I do. So, yep, that's the Live Coders team. Yeah, I know. I said, but they don't have any because I didn't send it to them. It's not like I was like, oh man, those jerks! I can't believe they didn't go out of their way to research all that information and put it in there. That's not what I said. I mean, I guess I did say it now, but like in like a joking way. There's a tone. There's a tone. Is the Hangman game on right now? Oh yeah, subs only to start a Hangman game. That's right. I forgot about that. Subs or mods can start Hangman games. Yeah, exactly, Matt. Yep. That's how that works. Yeah. Do we want to try this? Hey, Shoji can do it. Good luck, everyone, if you're going to play the Hangman game. It's not easy. So, tips. They are either tech words or food for the most part. Couple of exceptions. And word is used loosely. Sometimes it's a proper noun, like a brand or something. I am not sure what that word is. Yeah, exactly. Is there anything other than tech than tech and food? I don't think so. Did it actually run our app? Nope. I don't think so. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I know it. Can anyone solve it before? Like, if you've got very little time before I go in and just solve it. I know what it is. Programmers should know this. Because we both use them and get into them. There's your hint. We use them and get into them. Tabs versus spaces, for example. Hey, Kevin got it. Congratulations, Kevin. Was it a good hint? I think it was probably a good hint. That is actually just a list that gets stored with this. Why isn't this starting? Is there an output thing? What's going on? What is this? I'm assuming I messed up a dependency or something like that, and that's why it won't load. Failed to determine the usually put for redirect dependency in wait a minute. So it looks like it's failing to load the application. Did it not die? Maybe it didn't die. Hang on. I think maybe it zombied. Coach Todd, hey, welcome. Greetings. Long time no see, man. Did Swoog send people over here, or did you just wander over? Crap. How do I tell which one it is without killing the other one? Alright, I don't know which bot I just killed, but I just killed a bot. Let's hope it was I7. One of them had one of them was a zombie still. No, it wasn't I7 because it's not coming up yet. Coach Todd, you will definitely Oh, okay. You'll like the thing that I'm messing with. Look at the command name. This right here. Because that implies this one as well. So people will enjoy those, I think. Okay. So that's running just fine. Let me try killing I'm gonna kill more stuff. Just in case it's something there. Let me hop back into the registry. Just in case it was these, I'm going to remove these two commands, because this is what I added in here. So just in case it's those, and there's something weird with dependency registration. So sometimes if your program won't run, take a look at the dependency registrations, just to see if you have something in there that you're not expecting. Yeah. Nuke that and it loads just fine. Okay, I know the problem. I did forget something. I forgot to add this. I should have looked through that error more closely before I went and did that. I never actually built this class. It couldn't do it. All right. I did not actually do this, so that is why it is failing. I didn't actually write the code. I was like, yeah, let's go test this, but I never actually did the code that really did the work. So let's go write the code that actually does the work. All right. Memory access a game moment. Game moment accessor? No, what? GP accessor. All right, GP accessor. I need to fix that in the other one. Just want to do that now. Okay, so in here, address. Ooh. I have the GIL here. I swear I've got the GP somewhere. There we go. This'll do. This'll do. I can adjust from this. Alright, so where's Gil? Gil is there. So if this is that one, save that temporarily. Where's GP? There it is. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm a wizard. Oh, sweet. Glad to be a wizard. That's better than something else. I mean, I can be a lot of things. Wizard's not bad. Because math is easier this way. Pull up a calculator, and 3310 minus 2940 is 370. So 370. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to toss this into a calculator. And so you can all see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab a hex calculator, paste that in, switch it over to decimal, add 370. And that's my new value. Switch it back into hex. And so A26. A26. Thank you, thing. This one is GP. Now, the next question that I need to answer... Mobabo! It's not necessarily the menu. This is more game interaction-y stuff right here. So in this one, we are adjusting the GP values. So that should be the GP if I didn't just mess that up. Now the question is, How big is GP as it's stored in here? It might be. I'm going to double check. GP looks like 4 bytes, actually, Mr. Choji. But if you can double check for me, I would appreciate it. I think it's 4 bytes. That's what I've got in my records. But if you see something else, let me know. I'm going to treat it as 4 bytes until you say otherwise. Because that's what my records show. Alright, so we're going to grab that. So this is, we'll say, amount instead of gil, because that's a little bit nicer. Oh, is this going to get the... What's that on? I'll bet that's changing on the interface. That's nice, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so in this one, GP address. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're making a little array of bytes, and we're going to read memory at that location, grab it, convert it into a uint. Max of... You've got it as 2 bytes? Okay. I will put it as 2 bytes then. I'll put that in. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, everyone. Headset doesn't actually fit that well because my hair needs to get cut, which is annoying. when you need a haircut, and you can't get a haircut, it's a bummer. Okay, error setting, error GP. Hair never needs cut. Yeah, Shoji. I used to have long hair also. Long time ago, I had long hair. Yeah, I used to have hair, I used to have hair down past my shoulders, long time ago. There are those among the developer community that that even know about that and would remember it. Very few, but there are some. Okay, so now in this one, when we add, we're gonna do that. We're gonna change it, convert, add, and then put it right back where it goes. And then this one, same thing. We're going to make the adjustment. We're going to check the amounts based on the current balance. If you did go over it, we're going to set it to 0 just so we don't have any kinds of errors. Does the word gil appear in here? It does not. That's good. All right, let's build that. Oh, yeah. Gotta cut it every 6 months or you get neck pain. I will tell you, this is gonna... So anyone that has not had long hair, or especially if you've never gone from long hair to straight hair, I hurt my neck constantly after I cut my hair. So I used to have really long hair, and it moves with, there's inertia for all head movements. So any movement I would do would be too forceful, and I would hurt my neck when I got my hair cut. So it's a funny, I think a lot of people don't realize this. No, you get your head movement is based on your hair, and you're used to it. And you'll just be oh, you're like, I didn't do anything. I just looked sideways. Long hair really does do that, because there's actually a lot of weight to it. People aren't kidding when they talk about that. Yeah, as Calraven mentions, it is heavy. It's weird. If you've never had long hair, I don't think you realize it's nuts. All right, let's go ahead and try this again. Let's see how evil our code is now. Actually, I want to rerun this too. Okay, so Interactive 7's going again. There it is. And I am in here. Now, sadly, I don't think I don't think I've got a save file that's anywhere near the gold saucer. But I guess we'll just have to sort of trust it, I guess, kinda, and just see what happens. Totally not a crazy thing to say. Definitely safe. Yours isn't straight, so it all sits on top of your head. Nodding forward or backwards or throwing... oh, yeah. Yes, if you literally just want to lose weight and not improve your health as an aspect of it, yes. Cutting your hair can reduce your weight. Probably not what you were going for unless you're trying to solve neck pain, but you could cause additional neck pain if you're not careful, but yeah, why not? Okay, so what were we going to do? We were going to try... Did I have default values? What did I set as the values for that? Give player GP command words. What did I set the defaults to? I find GP. That's what it is. Okay. Does that work? No? Is it enabled? Did I default it to enabled? I bet I defaulted it to false. I bet that's why it didn't work. Enabled false. Okay. Since I don't have the UI for it, we didn't build that piece yet. We did not put it anywhere on the UI. I'm just going to set it to true. Why? Oh, right. Yeah, that breakpoint would hit. Hey! DevChatter. I love DevChatter. It's a good one. I'm amazed you went for that and not that one. But I do like Think also. They're both good. Those might be my favorites of the emotes here on our stream. The Think and the Shock. We have a bunch of other emotes, but since Twitch only oh yeah. Since Twitch only lets you have like so many, it's one of those like, okay, so I've got like 10 emotes. I need to rotate among them because I want people to be able to use them every once in a while, but they don't let me have that many. So okay, so let's give it a try. Find GP 1. Added 1 GP. Drop GP 1. I don't have 1 GP. Well, that's an interesting problem, isn't it? Something appears to be wrong. I don't know how that one happened. How do I check the GP if I'm not at the gold saucer? I don't have a save of the gold saucer that I use for testing either. I really need to get some more saves for this. I don't have a good answer to that right now. You play the game a bit. What? I don't play the game on here, Mr. Shoji. What do you think this is, a gaming stream? No, this is a programming stream. Alright, let's, what is this, give? Alright. Alright, let's try this. So I'm right here. Let me grab the immediate window. GP accessor. Dot get GP. What? Yeah. Maybe. That's a good question. Did I accidentally write 4 bytes instead of 2? Because that should be a U short, not a not an int. So let's go adjust. So remove that. U short. U short! Let's change those. And then in here, that'll be a U short. That'll be a uint 16. Ah, that was what went wrong, is out of that. So it failed that conversion. Because my bit converter's not right. Because it has to be 2. You not long. Yes, you short. You not long. You short. Ah. I think that'll get it. Let me just... 32? Nope. The word int, aside from interactive, show up anywhere? This is a U short. That's a U short. Now we're back up to the top. Okay. Let's try that one more time. Nope. You're right. If I do that, I can't do that. Alright, so... So we'll do a safe U short parse. U short try parse. U short static U short. Because I needed to have that. So that's so I like little extension methods for those things if because I'm not a big fan of the try parse. I like what it does, but I don't think it looks that great in the code if you're not actually planning on handling the false case in any way other than just having the default value. So if the default value is if you can handle that the same way in our case as 0, if a 0 basically has the same meaning as a failure to you, then I like not handling it at all. And just saying, okay, I got the default value, I'll handle the default value. Why not? Because I had to handle the default value if it successfully did it anyway. So I just say, hey, if it was 0 or less, treat it the same way. So you either specified 0 or you gave me an invalid cast. One or the other. U short. Which means I no longer need to do that. That also means that over in the remove player GP command, this one, we can change that to a U short as well, and thus it doesn't need to be there either. Okay. The nice thing is, in most languages that we work with on this channel, C# obviously included, if you are using numbers where it does need to convert, it's actually going to... So if I try to multiply a short with a long or an int, for example, it will essentially size up my U short to the correct size to be able to do the mathematics and return back the larger type. Larger, of course, being, larger storage. The more information type. All right, let's run this again. Have a look. See if we got that sorted. All right. There it is. Find GP1. Drop GP1. There, doesn't have one. Nice. Drop GP2. GP. Looks like it's working. Adding and removing GP as expected. I don't have a display of that value anywhere, but it does look like it works. So that's a positive. Huh. Cool. I call that a win right there. Now, as I mentioned, I did set these equal to true so that we could test it, but I think the actual values, before sending it to anyone else, should be false, and just my settings should have it enabled so that I can use it. To that end, we need to display it somewhere. So, let's do this. Add to UI. We're just going to say add to UI on each of these settings, because we need to do that. Because until those get added to the UI, then no one can actually use this feature. So let's go ahead and first off, uncheck all of these. This one, fix the GIL accessor logger type. That was a bug that I noticed. GP accessor, U short. Okay. That is that piece. That is our GP address that we put in, just as a little convenience. This is the command settings for those. That's adding player GP settings to our settings object. Down here, we've got this with the to-dos added in. Give player GP command gets created, a remove player GP command gets created as well, and we update the dependency registrar with those values. Excellent. Adding give remove GP commands. Basic give remove GP commands. There we go. And I'm going to push that. Excellent. And if anyone isn't used to this, this is GitHub Desktop. It is, while not my main Git client, I usually use SourceTree and the command line for most of my Git work, though I guess I won't like... I don't mind the check marks and things like that inside of Visual Studio. I tend to like having a separate interface for dealing with source control instead of just having it in here. I know some people are like, oh, integrated. I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep it separated. I want to know the status in my programming, and I want to be able to see the information, but when I actually go to commit, I want a dedicated thing to that. That being said, if there were views in here, I'd be more okay with it, except that I already have such limited space in Visual Studio taken up by tabs that I don't want to give up any Visual Studio space for it. So I like having a separate app, but that's my preference. I know a lot of people do all kinds of different stuff. I'd love to know your opinions if people like have preferences for what you do for source control in chat. Let me know, because I think it's a fun discussion, to be honest. Because, well, we all do different stuff. So, see. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to make sure that I mention to everybody here on the channel. If you are new, first off, make sure you hit the follow button. It's the best way to get notified when we go live. So I am an independent software developer. I work from home. I work for a number of clients, and so I often have a busy schedule. So lately, I've had my schedule, like for the past handful of months, too busy to be able to stream during my normal schedule, which my regular schedule. And thank you for that follow, Fatal Error. The usual schedule for this stream is Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. In like the early afternoon time frame is when the streams are on those days. There's information down below, though lately I have not been able to get to my weekday streams because my schedule's been too packed with client work. So most of my streams happen on Saturdays lately, but I do want to mention to people that in addition to the streams, I have still been trying to get our YouTube channel episodes out. So I do a series on YouTube for DevChatter Basics also. So if you want to check those out, there is a link in the chat as well as down below to our YouTube channel. In addition to like DevChatter Basics and other videos like that, there's actually the full archives of all of our literal hundreds of episodes of DevChatter. So if you want to see any of the stuff that we've done, you can check all those out, and it's actually really cool. You use GitHub, you use VS to do the programming and do quick checks on files that have changed. Yeah, exactly, Mobabo. Otherwise, you go to another client to manage all the commits, the branches, etc. Yeah, exactly. Because the problem is it's hard to get that good of a client inside of Visual Studio. And when they talk about doing it, I'm like, but you still get the drawback that you're in Visual Studio. So like there are barriers you cannot get around that some of the other stuff can. You explored Git extensions with the awesome for me feature to stage and unstaged lines of code sounds weird, but oh yes, no. Yeah, so I really like individual line sections in source tree. You can stage and unstage. They call it like it's like chunks or hunks or some kind of like, like this chunk of code like they let you mess with, which I'm a big fan of. I really wish they gave me like line control from time to time as well. Maybe they have it and I just don't know. If they did, that'd be awesome. Just for the record. Okay, in addition, I also want to make sure that I tell everybody about our Discord. It really is a cool place, and that's actually the other way to get notified about the live streams and information about it, because I actually hinted to people before this stream went up that I was planning on doing a weekday stream. So anybody that's in my Discord actually knew, like, I don't know, when did I announce that? I asked people... about an hour before the stream, I hinted about the fact that we were actually going to go live on a weekday, which I think a lot of people were going to be surprised by. And then lastly, I do want to, I'm gonna roll my credits. We're gonna raid another channel. I think we're probably gonna head over to Robert Table. So the thing that I always ask people about, so before you go anywhere, first off, I want to thank everybody for being here, but the thing about raiding is that it actually really helps the community. So whether you're going to stick around and watch the other stream or not, please follow us along with the raid, just to, send that over there and help and support people. You don't have to follow, you don't have to speak. Just when we go over to someone, just remember, hey, just hang out for like 10-15 seconds just to see what their stream is like. Because if I send you over to a stream, that's me saying, hey, this is a good stream. I don't like rating streams where I wouldn't call it an endorsement to have sent you there. So in some capacity, I think it's a good stream if I am going to rate it. So that being said, when people suggest to me, hey, you should rate so-and-so, I'm often like, yeah, I know, they might be good. But I want to be able to tell people, hey, if I'm sending you there, I'm saying this is a good one. So it also then means you can trust me that I'm going to send you someplace I think is fun and nice and friendly, and that I would stick around and watch at some point, even though a lot of times right after my stream I don't have the time. Okay, so and yes, that reminder to roll my credits, I will roll my credits. So what I am going to do is roll the credits, and then I will click that button and thank everybody, and we will head over to a raid. So first off, I want to make sure that I thank everybody for hanging out today. I appreciated all the comments in the chat box, so thank you, chatterers. I want to thank Crimson Green, Mr. Shoji, and Stool Penner for hanging out as moderators for the chat. I want to thank these wonderful people for following us today. I mentioned them when they followed. Stool Penner for subscribing, and I want to make sure that I toss a shout out to both Matt and Kevin for raiding over to us. It is greatly appreciated as always. And yes, thank you, Nightbot, for timing out a friend of mine when he said the name of a website and tried to link to it. I should fix it so that he is a whitelisted user that does not get timed out for that. But either way, thank you all for hanging out today and making it a great stream. As I said, stick around. I'm going to actually toss up our end screen so that that's how it ends up on the video, but then I will click the raid button as soon as that is done. So as I said, feel free to check out any of the links down below or anything like that, and we will see you next time, which should be Saturday. So mark your calendars for Saturday, and have a good one. Happy coding, everyone.